So much happening in just the last 24 hours. Zoe Mintz joining me now in studio with more, specifically on the earthquake and then what led to the tsunami warnings and advisories.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that it was the 6th largest earthquake.
Yeah, 8.8?
Yeah,
okay.
Ever recorded. Initially, it was an 8.0, and then they upgraded it when they looked at more scientific evidence and showed how much water was actually displaced, because that was the biggest issue. The fact that it happened at a subduction zone, which means there was a lot of vertical movement in the water. And that, again, is the reason that we were so concerned about the fact that there might have been a potential tsunami. And you saw that the waves definitely did increase. They moved across the ocean anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 miles to reach Hawaii and the west coast of the United States. And those brought some nice waves to the west coast of the United States, but it wasn't anything too damaging, which is the best news of all. We saw anywhere from less than a foot of that tsunami wave. It was still something. It was still measurable in Washington. Anywhere from 2 to 3 feet in Port Orford, Oregon, and then anywhere from 1 to 2 feet in San Francisco, California. You definitely saw some up and downward motion of the water, but there wasn't that one huge wave that you would think with a tsunami. A tsunami isn't just one wave. It is that aftershock. It is that continuous up and down motion. And our biggest issue that we're going to have now is the fact that there are still tsunami advisories in effect for parts of the coast of California, from Santa Barbara up to San Luis Obispo, and then the northernmost part of California towards the Oregon border, just north of Eureka. These are the places that are still looking at that water level increasing and decreasing by over a foot. So that means that if you plan on going to the coast today in these areas, avoid the water at all costs, because it is still churned up very much so. For San Francisco, though, you can definitely tell that earlier in the morning hours, we definitely saw a lot of that up and down movement. That up and down movement has begun to subside a little bit, and we are no longer looking at that tsunami advisory for most of the west coast of the United States. This was our view in Half Moon Bay, California. Look at the tsunami, a little bit of up, a little bit of downward motion, but again, it was not the extreme tidal wave that you expect when you hear tsunami. There was still a bit of structural damage, but luckily, like Juliet said, there was no casualties. And that is definitely the best news with this. It was a very, very scary thing to see tsunami warnings, tsunami advisories.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, there was damage in Hawaii, and yes, there was damage in parts of the West Coast. But the fact that everyone listened to the warnings, listened to the evacuations, that's, I think, the reason that there weren't any casualties with this.
Good warnings, and people are paying attention.
Yes, that's the most important part. Thank you for paying attention, and continue to pay attention to the alerts that we put out. It's for your own safety.
Yeah, all right, Zoe, thank you.